If you like to read, if you like to think, if you like to see the world differently, grab yourself a book, give the show a listen. Purple Lit Nerd gonna show you what you're missing. Alright, I'm enjoying myself. I recorded the show and then I accidentally deleted it, and so now I have to re-record it. So, fun. Welcome to the Purple Lit Nerd podcast for November the 11th. 2017, 11/11. I am your host, the amazingly adorable Rebecca Thistle, podcasting to you live-ish from my kitchen table in my home, which I call Thistle Dew. Yay! So, yeah, like, I know nobody can see this because, obviously, hello, podcast, you're listening, but, I just love that theme song. It is terrible. But I'm proud of it, you know, and so you should be too, because I'm proud of it. Because you love me. I'm too adorable for you not to love me. Love me, damn it. Anyways, but it reminds me of, my son when he comes home with, you know, a little finger painting thing that he did at school, and he's just so proud of it. And it's no Rembrandt. Let's be honest, you know, 3 and 4 year olds, not artistic prodigies, generally speaking. Some are. My kid isn't. He's really good at a lot of things. He's very smart. He's very lovable, and I adore every aspect of his being. But let's be real. He is not Pablo Picasso reincarnated. He's just not. And let's be clear, I know that song, not the most amazing thing on the face of the planet. I'm no Mozart. I'm not even close. I am not a good jingle writer. I don't think. But I'm just so proud of that because I wrote it. I recorded it. I got it into my Spreaker app. And it's there. And I did it. Yay me! And so, because I'm so proud of it, you should be too. Like my son's hand lizard. I don't know. He came home with a handprint, and underneath the handprint was some tail and nose and stuff. He said, "It's my hand lizard." And so he's just so proud of it that you can't help but be proud of him for being proud of it. And for feeling good about something he created. So, even if it was with the help of his teachers. So, anyways, moving right along. Last week we started a series of episodes that are about literary terms that, it's just so that we all are on the same page, and, we don't jump into a literary discussion about a book or a book series and you go, wait, what's that? What is symbolism? What is imagery? What is a theme? What is a motif? What is personification? What are you talking about, Becca? Define these terms for me. I don't want to take time and do it myself. So, last week we talked about narration and point of view. So this week I want to talk about figurative language because I can define all the terms under my figurative language heading. I have another episode planned, and I hope that's going to be the last in this definition series. And I'm not entirely sure that I can define all these terms properly, so I'm going to have to record this and then go do some research for next week's show. So, anyways, figurative language. What is figurative language? Figurative language is not literal language. So, when I say something like, my washer and dryer like to sing to me when they're finished, I'm not being literal. They do not literally sing. They're inanimate objects. I am engaging in what is called personification. They play a little tune. It's a little digital tune, but I say they're singing to me. My washer and dryer are nicer to me than the little, like, chip reader at the grocery store. Like, it's like, beep, beep. It, like, yells at you. Again, engaging in personification. Yells at you when you take your card out. And just like, don't be mean to me. My washer is nicer to me than you are. And I pay more for that. Anyways. I need help. So, first two terms that always come up when we talk about figurative language, you probably have already heard them, but we're going to define them anyways, just to be on the same page. Simile and metaphor. Yep. What are similes? What are metaphors? They basically do the exact same thing in a different way. They make comparisons between one thing and another. So the best illustration of how similes and metaphors work actually comes from MC Lars and his song Rap Girl, where there's a little, I wouldn't even call it a verse, but there's a little section where he says, "She attacked me with her similes like killer bees out of a park. I came back with a metaphor, an angry great white shark." So, that should clear everything up for you. Okay, no. If you already know what it is, like, you go, oh, yes, that's brilliant. I should go find that song. It's called Rap Girl. It's on his album, The Graduate. And you should go listen to that song, because it's awesome. But for those of you who are kind of confused, let me clear this up. A simile makes a comparison between one thing and another by using words like or as. So in the example I just gave, she attacked me with her similes like killer bees out of a park. So her attack is being, her verbal attack is being compared to a killer bee attack. And he uses the word like to make that comparison. A metaphor just doesn't use that. Usually a metaphor will use some form of the verb to be, either outright or implied. In the case of this thing from Lars, I came back with a metaphor, an angry great white shark. The I was an angry great white shark. The I was, or I am, or however you want to put that, would be implied. So, he is basically saying, I was, in this fight, an angry great white shark. It was implied. There you go. Form of the verb to be, or the infinitive to be. Anyways, it's easier to explain in Spanish. Not that I'm fluent in Spanish, okay? Anyways, so that's the difference between similes and metaphors. So, another example, it would be if I were to say, my dog is like my best friend, versus my dog is my best friend. The first is a simile, The second is a metaphor. Um, I'm trying to think of another example that would use as in the simile, but it's not coming to me. So, moving right along. The next wordy word on my listy list is hyperbole. And this is a word that I have heard more in the past 10 months. Actually, scratch that. This is a word that I have heard more in the past year and a half than I ever heard in, 12 years of schooling. Okay? Because we have certain public figures, who shall remain nameless, who like to engage in hyperbole. Basically, and we're not going to get into it, that's not the point of this show. I'm just saying it's out there, and you know who I'm talking about. Or you should. It's an extreme exaggeration. When usually people use it for comic effect, but other people use it for dramatic effects, or, whatever. So, the example that I saw when I went to go double check that I had the right definition for these terms, the example that was given for hyperbole, and if I were a good English major, I'd be able to cite the website I used to double check these things. Anyways, the example used for hyperbole was that ice cream cone was a mile high. I'm not 100% certain, but I'm pretty sure no one on the face of the planet has ever had an ice cream cone that was a mile high. Maybe they have, and it's in the Guinness Book of World Records. I don't know. But I've never seen it. So maybe I just engaged in hyperbole. So hyperbole is a very extreme exaggeration. It is also a very fun word to say that makes you sound smart. So now you know what it means. Go use it. Next on the list is personification, and I just gave an example of that earlier. Were you paying attention? Personification is when you give human-like qualities to an inanimate object. So I mentioned earlier that I have a washer and dryer, and I like to say that when they're finished, they sing to me. They play a little cheerful tune that's, just basically says, "Hey, I'm done." And, there's no words to it, obviously, but it's a nice little happy tune that means that the cycle is done, and I can now either fold the clothes out of the dryer or transfer the clothes from the washer to the dryer. But I like to say that they sing to me. That is an inanimate object. It cannot sing. It has no lungs. It has no vocal cords. That is called personification. I am giving human qualities to an inanimate object. This is different from anthropomorphization. Anthropomorphization. I don't know. This is different from anthropomorphizing something. Which I have to go double check the definition of that. Not something that we need to discuss. But personification relates to inanimate objects having human-like qualities. The website that I mentioned before that I used to double check my definitions, the example they gave for personification was the teddy bear smiled as the little boy hugged him. Oh, so sweet. And I know you can't see this, but I just rolled my eyes because that's so stupidly sweet. But it's a good example of personification. I prefer my washer and dryer sang to me, or the card reader at the grocery store squawked at me or yelled at me. Anyways, that's personification. Finally, I want to mention a word that you have probably heard a lot because it usually comes up at spelling bees. Because it's